What if the biggest lie you've ever believed is that you should always be realistic? Since childhood, you've been told to stay grounded. Don't dream too big. Don't expect too much. Don't think you're special. It sounds wise. But what if that advice has quietly destroyed more dreams than failure ever could? Look at the people who changed history. Before the world believed in them, they believed in themselves, sometimes so strongly that everyone else thought they were delusional. The truth is simple. Nobody wins by seeing only what already exists. Great winners first see what does not exist yet. So the real question isn't, are you being delusional? It's, are you delusional enough to become extraordinary? Most people misunderstand confidence. They think confidence comes after success. Machiavelli understood something far more dangerous. People don't follow certainty because it has proof. They follow certainty because certainty creates proof. Your beliefs shape your actions. Your actions shape your identity. Your identity shapes your future. That means your future is often decided long before reality catches up. In this video, you'll learn why ordinary thinking keeps people trapped, why extraordinary people think differently, and how strategic self-belief can become your greatest competitive advantage without losing touch with reality. Because sometimes, winning begins with believing something the world refuses to believe. Before we move forward, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I believe first. Let's go. Number 1, the psychological trap of realism. Let me ask you something. Think back to the last time you had a really big idea, something that genuinely excited you. Now think about what happened next. Did you chase it? Or did a voice in your head, or someone around you, say, be realistic? If you're like most people, that voice won, and you talked yourself out of it before you even tried. That's not wisdom, that's a trap, and almost everyone falls into it. Here's the thing about being realistic. On the surface, it sounds responsible. It sounds mature, like something a smart, grounded person would say. But when you dig into what it actually does to people, what it actually produces, the picture looks very different. Realism, the way most people use it, doesn't protect you from failure. It protects you from trying. And those are two completely different things. When society tells you to be realistic, what it's really saying is, stay where it's safe. Don't go further than where we've already been. Don't want more than what's already been proven possible. And on the surface, that feels responsible. But underneath, it's fear dressed up in sensible clothing. Think about how this starts. You're a kid. You tell someone your dream. Maybe you wanted to be an astronaut, a professional athlete, a famous musician, or the founder of something big. And the adult in the room, someone who genuinely cared about you, looked at you and said something like, that's sweet, but you should have a backup plan. They weren't being cruel. They were passing on what they had been taught. They had been told the same thing when they were young. And that message got handed down generation after generation until playing it safe started to feel like intelligence. But here's what nobody told you. Every single thing you use in your daily life, your phone, the internet, the car you drive, the medicine that saves lives, was built by someone who refused to be realistic. Someone who looked at a world that didn't have that thing yet and said, I'm going to build it anyway. Every world-changing invention started as an unrealistic idea. Now here's where this gets really personal and really dangerous. The trap of realism doesn't just stop big ideas, it quietly shapes how you see yourself every single day. When you shrink your goals to avoid judgment, you start building a smaller identity. You stop thinking like someone who creates things and start thinking like someone who just reacts to things. And once that shift happens in your mind, it starts showing up everywhere. You stop raising your hand. You stop applying for the bigger opportunity. You stop saying what you actually think. You start waiting for someone to give you permission to want more. And that permission almost never comes. Here's the brutal truth. The world doesn't reward people who wait. It rewards people who move. And you cannot move boldly when your thinking is chained to what already exists. There's also a social layer to this that people rarely talk about. When you start pursuing something bigger, people get uncomfortable, not because they want you to fail, but because your ambition reminds them of the dreams they buried. So they push back, they question your plan, they bring up every possible reason it won't work. And if you don't have strong enough belief in yourself, their doubt becomes your doubt. Their ceiling becomes your ceiling. This is why seeking approval before taking action is so deadly. Because you're putting your future in the hands of people who are still trapped in their own limitations. The only approval you ever needed was your own. Realism has its place. Understanding your current situation, knowing your resources, recognizing real obstacles, that's smart, that's necessary. Nobody is saying ignore reality completely, but there is a massive difference between understanding reality and being limited by it. The greatest achievers in history didn't deny reality. They refused to let current reality define their future reality. They held a vision so clearly and so strongly that they started moving toward it before anyone else could see it. That's not delusion. That's the first step of every real breakthrough. And here's what most people miss. Extraordinary goals are supposed to sound unrealistic at the beginning. That's how you know they're worth chasing. If your goal doesn't make someone slightly nervous or uncomfortable, it's probably not big enough to change anything. Small goals don't require courage. Big ones do. So the next time someone tells you to be realistic, ask yourself one thing. Realistic compared to what? Compared to what's already been done? Because everything that exists today was once considered impossible by someone. Stop letting the average of other people's thinking become the ceiling of your potential. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My vision is valid. Number 2. Delusional self-belief as a competitive advantage. Every person you admire, every athlete, entrepreneur, artist or leader who built something worth talking about, had one thing in common before they had success, before they had money, before they had proof of anything. They believed in themselves first, not after the results showed up, not after people started clapping, not after the numbers made sense. Before all of that. And to the people watching from the outside, that kind of belief looks crazy. It looks arrogant. It looks like someone who doesn't understand how the world works. But here's the reality. That belief wasn't irrational. It was strategic. Most people have the order backwards. They think the sequence goes like this: work hard, get results, then feel confident. And sure, that sounds logical, that sounds fair, but that's not how high performers actually operate. The real sequence looks different. Belief comes first. Then decisions change. Then actions change. Then results follow. When you genuinely believe something is going to work, you make different choices. You stay later, you try harder, you find solutions instead of excuses. You approach opportunities with a different energy, and people feel that. They respond to it. Confidence before evidence isn't delusion. It's the engine that creates the evidence. Think about Michael Jordan for a second. Before he became the standard for greatness, before the 6 championships, before every kid on the planet wanted to be him, there was a young man who got cut from his high school basketball team. He didn't sit down and wait for results to give him confidence. He went home, worked, and decided internally that he was going to be the best. That belief drove every practice, every extra rep, every early morning when nobody was watching. The results came later, but the belief came first. That's not a coincidence. That's the pattern. Now let's talk about doubt, because doubt is not just personal, it spreads. When you're around people who constantly question themselves, who second-guess every move, who talk about why things won't work, that energy transfers. It's almost like a virus. You start picking up their hesitation without even noticing it. This is why your environment matters so much. Not because successful people are better human beings, but because the people around you constantly shape how you think about what's possible. If everyone in your circle is operating at a limited level of belief, their ceiling slowly becomes yours. Their doubt quietly becomes your doubt. And before long, you're making small decisions and wondering why your life isn't growing. Confidence also spreads, but it requires someone brave enough to carry it first. That someone has to be you. Here's what unwavering self-belief actually changes in practice. It changes how you walk into a room. It changes how you speak about your ideas. It changes how you handle rejection. Because when you truly believe in what you're building, one no doesn't shake the foundation. It just redirects you. It changes how long you stay in the game. Most people quit right before the breakthrough because they ran out of belief, not because they ran out of options. Self-belief is the fuel that keeps you moving when logic says stop. And this is exactly where Machiavelli's thinking becomes razor-sharp. He understood that the person who projects the most certainty holds the most power. Not because they have all the answers, but because certainty is magnetic. People follow it, people trust it, people invest in it. You don't need to have everything figured out. You need to move like you do. That's not fake confidence. That's how leaders are built, from the inside out, long before the world catches up. Number 3, the role of ambition. Somewhere along the way, ambition got a bad reputation. People started treating it like a character flaw, like wanting more meant you were greedy, ungrateful, or full of yourself. So most people learned to shrink their desires in public. They started apologizing for their goals. They played small so nobody would call them arrogant. And that quiet shrinking? It costs more than people realize. Here's what nobody says out loud. Unnecessary humility is just as dangerous as unchecked ego. When you constantly downplay your potential to make others comfortable, you stop growing, you stop pushing, you stop becoming. Real humility isn't pretending you're less than you are. Real humility is knowing exactly what you're capable of and staying hungry enough to chase it without needing the world to applaud every step. Ambition is not ego. Let's make that separation clear right now. Ego says, I'm already the best. Ambition says, I'm going to keep getting better. Ego is closed. Ambition is hungry. Ego protects the current version of you. Ambition demands that you outgrow it. The most successful people treat ambition like a responsibility, not something to be ashamed of, something to be honored. Because when you have a genuine gift, a real skill, a real vision, hiding it doesn't make you humble. It makes you wasteful. You are not built to stay small. One of the biggest ways ambition gets killed is through the waiting game. People sit around waiting for someone to notice them, waiting for the right moment, waiting for permission to go after what they actually want. That permission is never coming. Nobody is going to walk up to you and say, hey, I think you should go build that thing you've been dreaming about. The world doesn't work that way. The world responds to people who move first and ask questions later. Stop waiting to feel ready. Nobody ever feels completely ready. The most accomplished people in every field started before they were qualified, before they had all the answers, before the timing was perfect. They moved anyway, and the motion created the momentum. Here's the practical shift you need to make starting today. Stop treating your ambition like something to manage. Start treating it like something to feed. Read more. Study the people who've done what you want to do. Put yourself in rooms where the standard is higher than what you're used to. Let other people's success fuel you instead of threaten you. And when doubt creeps in, because it will, remind yourself that every person who ever built something meaningful felt that same doubt. The difference is, they acted despite it. Your ambition is not the problem. Your hesitation is. The world doesn't need more people playing it safe. It needs more people willing to go all in on their potential and show others what's actually possible. That starts with you deciding, right now, that your goals are not too big. They're just not finished yet. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I own my ambition. Number 4, handling failure. Let's talk about the thing everyone experiences but nobody wants to discuss openly. Failure. The kind that keeps you up at night. The kind where you gave something everything you had and it still didn't work out. That kind of failure hits differently. And if you don't know how to process it correctly, it doesn't just slow you down, it stops you completely. Here's the most important thing to understand about failure. It is not a verdict on your worth. It is information about your approach. Read that again. When something doesn't work, it's not the universe telling you that you're not good enough. It's showing you specifically what needs to change. Your timing, your strategy, your preparation, your execution. That's incredibly valuable data if you're willing to look at it clearly instead of personally. The people who recover from failure fastest are not the ones who feel it the least. They're the ones who refuse to let it define them. They feel the disappointment fully, then they ask one question: what did this teach me? That single shift from "why did this happen to me" to "what can I learn from this" changes everything. Slow progress is still progress. That sounds simple, but most people abandon ship the moment results stop coming quickly. Here's the truth about timelines. Real growth almost never looks impressive while it's happening. It looks like nothing for a long time. It looks like wasted effort. It looks like maybe you made the wrong choice. Then one day, everything compounds and the jump forward is undeniable. But most people quit during the invisible phase. They mistake silence for failure. They mistake slow for stopped. If you're still moving, even barely, you're still in the game. And being in the game is the only requirement for eventually winning it. Protect your confidence during hard seasons. Not by pretending things are fine when they're not, but by separating what happened from who you are. You had a bad launch. You are not a failure. You lost a client. You are not worthless. You made a wrong call. You're not incompetent. The setback was temporary. Your identity doesn't have to be. Keep your standards high for your effort. Keep your judgment clear about your results. But keep your belief in yourself completely separate from both. That combination, high standards plus protected self-worth, is what keeps great people moving when everything around them is falling apart. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Failure builds me. Number 5. Strategic adaptation. Commitment to a goal is not the same as commitment to a single path. This is where a lot of driven people get stuck. They pick a direction, go hard at it, hit a wall, and interpret that wall as a sign they chose wrong. So they either quit or they keep slamming into the same wall expecting a different result. Both are mistakes. The strongest performers in any field share one specific quality: They hold their destination tightly and their methods loosely. The vision stays fixed. The route stays flexible. Think of it like GPS navigation. When you miss a turn, the GPS doesn't shut off and tell you the trip is over. It recalculates immediately, without drama, without questioning whether the destination was ever worth going to. You need to operate the same way. When a strategy stops working, that's not failure, that's feedback. It's the road telling you there's a better route. The only wrong response is to stop driving. History is full of people who succeeded by pivoting, not by quitting. Howard Schultz got rejected by over 200 investors before Starbucks became what it is today. He didn't abandon the vision of what he was building. He kept adjusting his pitch, his timing, his approach, until something broke through. The goal never changed. The execution evolved constantly. That's strategic adaptation in real life. Not weakness, not inconsistency, intelligence. Here's where most people go wrong with obstacles. They treat them as stop signs when they're actually detours. Every obstacle carries information. It shows you a gap in your preparation, a flaw in your plan, or an opportunity you hadn't considered. When you start looking at problems that way, as puzzles rather than punishments, your whole relationship with difficulty changes. You stop fearing hard seasons. You start mining them. The people who win long-term are rarely the most talented. They're the most adaptable. They're the ones who stay curious when things break down instead of getting bitter. Stay committed to where you're going. Stay creative about how you get there. And never confuse changing your approach with giving up on your purpose. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I adapt. I advance. Number 6. Identity transformation. Everything we've talked about in this video leads here. Because you can have the right mindset about realism. You can build strong self-belief. You can feed your ambition. You can handle failure well and adapt when things break down. But if your identity, the story you tell yourself about who you are, doesn't match where you're going, none of it sticks. Identity is the foundation. Everything else is built on top of it. Here's how most people set goals. They think about what they want to have, the money, the results, the recognition, and they chase those things without ever asking a deeper question. Who do I need to become to hold those things? That question changes everything. Because the person you are right now, your habits, your language, your daily decisions, was built to produce the life you currently have. To get a different life, you need to become a different person. Not fake, not performative. Genuinely different on the inside. Start with your language, right now. Listen to how you talk about your future. Do you say, I'm trying to, or I hope one day, or maybe eventually? That language is weak. It signals uncertainty. It tells your brain you're not serious. Swap it out. Start saying, I'm building, or I'm becoming, or this is happening. The shift sounds small. The impact is massive. Words shape thought. Thought shapes behavior. Behavior shapes reality. Then look at your daily habits. Do they match the person you say you want to become? If you want to be a disciplined person, what does your morning look like? If you want to be financially free, how are you spending and saving right now? If you want to lead others, are you showing leadership in small situations today? The gap between who you are and who you want to be closes one daily decision at a time. Not through big dramatic changes, through consistent quiet actions that nobody sees but you. Do those things long enough and confidence stops being something you chase. It becomes something you simply have, because your actions have earned it. You don't wait to become that person after the results arrive. You become that person now. You carry yourself like it. You speak like it. You make decisions like it every single day before the world agrees with your vision. That's how identity transforms. That's how ordinary people become extraordinary, not overnight, but undeniably. Here's what it all comes down to. Every single person the world now calls a legend was once called unrealistic. Every company that changed an industry was once laughed at in a boardroom. Every movement that reshaped society was once dismissed as impossible. The difference between the people who made it and the people who didn't wasn't talent. It wasn't luck. It wasn't perfect timing or the right connections. It was the courage to keep believing in something the world couldn't see yet. That's what this video has really been about. Not blind optimism, not ignoring reality, but building the kind of deep, strategic, unshakable belief in yourself that lets you keep moving when everything around you is telling you to stop. You learned that realism, the way most people use it, quietly kills more potential than failure ever does. You learned that confidence comes before evidence, not after it. You learned that ambition is a responsibility, not a character flaw. You learned that failure is a teacher, not a verdict. You learned that great vision requires flexible execution. And you learned that the most powerful thing you can do right now is start becoming the person your future requires, today, before the results show up. That's a complete roadmap, not theory. Actionable steps you can start using the moment this video ends. If this video gave you something real, a shift in thinking, a moment of clarity, or one idea that hit differently, hit that like button right now. It tells me to keep making content like this. Share this video with someone in your life who's been told their dreams are too big. They need to hear this message. And if you want more videos on strategy and building the life you want, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell so you never miss what's coming next. The world will keep calling extraordinary people delusional. Let them. Because history doesn't remember the critics. It remembers the ones who kept going anyway. Now go build something worth remembering.